you just released an album, and
yes.
I'm a big fan of your work. I love your. I've listened actually to many of your hilarious monologues. I've listened to them. I've downloaded them and listened to them. You've got a new album out. It's called Four More Sweaters. Monsters Take Your Questions.
Yes.
Now, tell me, what is the premise of this comedy album?
Well, I took 4 of the characters that I do, and I did them on stage at the UCB Theater, and they each have like a 6 or 7 minute monologue, and then I turn on the house lights and throw open the floor to questions as the character.
As the characters, you improvise the answers. Now,
exactly.
Which characters are you doing on the album? Are you doing Chip Gardner?
Chip Gardner is one. Yes, Chip Gardner is he's an old game show host from the 80s or so whose face has been terribly disfigured in a botched suicide attempt. And he's running for he's running for honorary mayor of Hollywood, a position which has been left vacant for 9 years already. And he's also an avowed Satanist. And so one of his promises, if you vote for him, is to bring Satan's kingdom to earth. He truly believes that Satan will rise from a lake of fire and rain chaos and destruction upon the world. And I'll be ruling at his side when that happens.
Okay. So he says it all with this nice sort of announcer's voice. And he wants to be the mayor of Hollywood?
Yes, the honorary mayor of Hollywood. It's an honorary position appointed by the Chamber of Commerce. Just write them a letter and let them know Chip Gardner is your man for honorary mayor of Hollywood.
Does Chip Gardner have any real talent?
You're hearing it right here. He's got pretty good enunciation, and that's about it for talents.
So he's one of the characters. Another character of yours is Don Dimello. Tell us about Don Dimello.
Well, Don Dimello is a theatrical director. He is the director of the Radio City Music Hall Christmas Spectacular. And he spends a lot of time working on the Rockettes. That's the part of the show that Don gets very intimately involved with. The Rockettes, if you get them hooked on heroin, they'll do anything you tell them to do. You make sure they're all the exact same height with the same smile, and they're kicking the legs up at the perfect time.
So he's an old creep who likes to work intimately with the Rockettes.
Yes, that part of the show is just for daddy. That's kind of...
Where did that character come from?
I saw that show, that Radio City, it's all for kids. It's got Santa Claus. It's fully a children's show. And then all of a sudden in the middle of it, out comes this throwback to the Ziegfeld Follies leggy can-can dancers. And it just seems like an odd combo.
Right.
And I just thought,
I think that's in there for daddy.
And there's got to be a guy behind the scenes going,
faster, higher, more smiles.
And the Rockettes are saying, why are we in this? This is for like 4 and 5-year-olds.
You'll do as you're told.
Yeah, got it.
No more candy.
One of your very popular characters that you featured on our show several times is Dalton Wilcox, who's a cowboy. Yes. He's a cowboy. But there's a twist, as there always is with your characters.
So I'll put on my my cowboy hat to be Dalton Wilcox, and I also feel like this character needs a mustache. Oh dear! But I don't have glue for it, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to hold this mustache in place.
We're all doing what we can during COVID, so
it's a difficult time. Yeah. But, a lot of cowboys will do this. A lot of cowboys will just hold it.
No cowboys walk around holding their mustache on.
No, you're wrong about that, Conan. A lot of cowboys have to hold their mustaches in place out there on the plains where the winds are whipping up. It's hard to keep a mustache down, Conan. That's a fact.
Are you saying, Mr. Wilcox, that Sam Elliott, with his famous mustache, has to be holding it on all the time?
Absolutely. They say 3, 2, 1, take, and he puts his fingers away. But as soon as they call cut, fingers back up there, he's got to hold that mustache on. It won't stay there but for a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Well, I am Dalton Wilcox. I am the poet laureate of the West. And in addition, I'm a cowboy poet. You understand? A real cowboy.
Yes, understand. Yep.
The real American West, not the bullshit West you're living in out there in California. I'm talking about the real West.
The real West. All right.
The real American West. And in addition to being our nation's foremost collector and chronicler of the wit and wisdom of the West, I am also very unfortunately plagued by vampires.
Okay, this is the part I wanted to get to. Dalton Wilcox, very great, a poet of the high plains, a wonderful cowboy character. but he's obsessed with vampires, and he thinks that vampires are after him all the time.
Well, I'd say they're obsessed with me, Conan. I can't go anywhere but the vampire doesn't come up and try and kill me. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Just the other day, I parked my truck at a parking meter, and
Yes.
I put a couple of nickels in there, and I went about my business. And then when I came back, some fellow was putting a ticket on my windshield.
Right. That happens.
I marched right up to that son of a gun, and I says, "Hey, are you a damn vampire?" And he basically said that he was. I knew it. I knew it the second I saw him.
Did he say he was a vampire?
Well, he said, "Vampire, what are you talking about?" And that's what they all say, Conan. Chapter and verse. That's what a vampire always says when you ask him point blank if he's a vampire. He says,
No, that's what a traffic cop says who's giving tickets and who's writing a ticket. If you ask him, are you a vampire? He says, no, I'm not a vampire.
I've never run into a traffic cop, Conan. I've just run into lots of vampires out there putting tickets on my windshield. Anyway, I struck him in the heart with a stake of wood, Conan.
Okay, no.
But he did have time to write the ticket. Do I have to pay that ticket? Do you know if I have to pay the ticket if I killed the man who wrote it?
Yes, you do. You have to still pay the ticket.
That ain't right.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. I have a question for Andy Daly, if he's still around. You still in there, Andy?
I'm here.
Andy, I'm just curious.
Yes.
When you look at this kid, you have no idea that all that sickness is inside him. Did you know that? He looks like such a sweet kid. And tie aside, there's no sign of evil or problems.
I don't know. I was going for Bono Joshua Tree at the time. And to this day, I still don't know how I went wrong.